homeless people in Coos Bay and North Bend, Oregon. But I was in Newport yesterday, and there's a lot of homeless people up there now, too. So what are you going to do? I mean, there's always going to be homeless people, either mentally ill, getting drunk, or addicted to drugs. I mean, it's not possible to solve 100% of it. Now, you can solve 50% of it. You could make it better, but you couldn't solve 100% of it, no. Not unless you spent tens of billions of dollars and just had a team of people watching these people all day in free housing, free food, free medical care, free everything. That's why the government doesn't try to solve it. Because they don't want to spend the money. Checks cashed, loans, I bet you they're real busy now with this economy going down. I bet they're real busy getting all that business. You go in there check cashing, so they charge 25% interest per week. So if you go in there and borrow $1,000, but of course, they'll only borrow you like $300 the first time. I know people have done it. So they borrow you $300, and they set it up to what weekly checks or payments, or oh, look at that cool truck. Wonder if he's going to try to restore it. Or bi-weekly, depending on your check. So most people pay every 2 weeks. So you have to pay 25% of $300 is $75 interest a month. Go look at the fine print. So if you borrow $300 and pay it in 1 month, right away, you owe $375. And usually there's like a $20 setup fee, so it's $395. So it's like anything else. You borrow $300, they're going to get $400 back out of you in 30 days. And most people who have never borrowed money like that, they don't understand how it works. So they'll go in and say, okay, I'm ready to pay my $300 plus how much interest is it? Like $25? They go, no, they say, you signed right here. You owe us $390 in 30 days. Now the same's with a pawn shop too. They got the pawn shop here and the pawn shop in Newport, Oregon. Depending on what kind of a loan you get, you would have to pay up to 40% at a pawn shop, but it's usually 25 or 30%. You go in like with all your construction tools or whatever, and you say, I need to borrow $1,000 to pay my house payment this month. And they only give 25%, so they have to have something that's worth $1,000 or $4,000. Or if they know you and you got a good deal there, they might get something that's worth $3,000 and give you $1,000. They have to be able to have something that's worth $4,000, 4 times what you're asking. I know you wanted to know all this information today. So, you go in there with Ford because they're going to have to sell it for 75% of what it's worth. Because people going in there don't want to pay what it's worth. They want a deal. Like I went in at the pawn shop a couple months ago and bought a vise. It's an antique vise. And it's probably worth $35. And I'm going to restore it and repaint it and everything during the winter, a little project for myself. And I'll make it worth $75 with just elbow grease and a couple coats of metal paint, you know. It'll look beautiful. So it was worth $35, so I paid $18. So whoever brought it in to get the money, they only got about $5 for it. You see how it works? So their dad probably passed away and they brought in all this vices and tools, you know, and then, okay, I'll give you 5 for this, I'll give you 6 for that, I'll give you 23 for this, and on and on. And they probably walked out with $190 when they could have sold all that stuff locally with free ads in the paper for twice that. But they don't want to spend the time doing it, you know, young people especially. They're so vulnerable. I want my cash now, and I want it right now. That's why Coinstar exists. You go to Coinstar, and you pay, what is it, 13% or 12% now? To turn your coins in? So if you turn in $50 worth of coins, you're giving that guy $6 or $7 in free money that you could keep yourself.